On our last program, we were talking about how the breakdown of the body occurs, and this idea that there's a certain generic standard way that the body breaks down is so important because we are trained to be confused about the body. We're conditioned to be confused about how our bodies work. There's an economic interest in maintaining and having our ignorance maintained. Doctors, the medical model, and I don't want to pin this on individuals, it's more like a paradigm problem, a model problem, this medical model that disempowers us, that says, check with your doctor, make sure your doctor does this, make sure you ask your doctor. This idea that we go outside ourselves, goes outside our bodies to some outside authority to help take care of our bodies, to take care of our illnesses, to take care of our degenerations and our health challenges. This very paradigmatic model idea that's built into our culture is based on financial interests, it's based on economic interests. We're encouraged to be confused, we're encouraged to be disempowered, we're encouraged to go outside ourselves to the modern day priests, which is what the doctors are. But despite what you may hear from representatives of this medical model, despite this deification of doctors, many of these doctors are ignorant themselves, brainwashed themselves. It's not like they're evil people. They just bought into this model themselves. They're just as conditioned by this disempowering model as we are, as our patients are. Health, my friends, is simple. You don't need a medical degree. You just need common sense. Health is our divine birthright, and you don't need a representative of the medical model, be it a doctor or a pharmacist or an insurance company or anybody, or even an alternative practitioner. You don't need a chiropractor, except perhaps maybe to get some physical manipulation. You don't need to go outside yourself to maintain and sustain this God-given divine birthright of health that we are all entitled to. To have a healthy body, you don't need a doctor any more than you need a priest or a rabbi or an imam to have a healthy relationship with God. On our last program, we were talking about how the body breaks down. This is so important, because if we don't know what happens when the body breaks down, not only are we going to be unable to address and fix what's wrong, even more importantly, we're going to get so freaked out and so scared, we're going to end up running into the arms of a medical model machine that at the end of the day could care less whether we as human beings live or die. The medical model does not care about the individual. It cares about the individual's money. It cares about the individual's dollars, but it doesn't care about the individual. It's a machine. The medical model is a robot. It's a machine. It doesn't care about us. It has no soul. It lives on dollars. Its blood is green. So the information we're talking about here is pretty much the most important thing for us to understand. More important than politics, more important than economics, more important than the global conspiracy, as important as that may be. If we're not operating on all cylinders personally, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we're not going to be able to do much good globally. And by the way, this fear thing that seems to saturate our culture, this fear thing is something that needs to be addressed. Fear means cortisol. Cortisol means stress. Cortisol and stress mean a shutdown in the body's ability to heal itself. Do not fall for fear. F-E-A-R, false evidence appearing real. It's not even real. You know how we always hear about the moment and the present and being in the moment and being in the present? Well, here's the thing about the moment and the present. In the moment, in the nanosecond, the individual moment, whatever a moment is, the now, in that moment, we are either in a love position or a fear position. Biologically, you could say that in the moment, we are either in a parasympathetic mode or a sympathetic mode. These are the two great streams of nervous system energy that we talk about all the time. These are two great streams of energy that run every single chemical reaction in our body. One stream, the parasympathetic stream, is involved with love. It's involved with thriving. It's involved with healing. The other stream, the other great energy stream, the sympathetic energy stream, is involved with fear and survival. Well, guess what? Health is parasympathetic. Disease is sympathetic. That means if we are breaking down, if we are degenerating, if we are not accessing and leveraging and exploiting the the healing powers of the body that are built in, we are in survival mode. In that moment, the nano moment, the present, how we feel, how we think, how we react to the things that we're aware of, in the now, in the moment, is how we feel and react to everything. In other words, how you feel about one thing is how you feel about everything. How you feel about anything is how you feel about everything in that moment, in the now. So whatever we're feeling, it's affecting everything in our life, from our relationships to our finances to our health to how our body is doing. It's creating on a moment-to-moment basis because the body is recreating itself every single moment. Hang tight. I'll finish this up when we come back from our break. And take your phone calls as well at 855-660-4261. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back after this. Okay, so we always hear about living in the present, living in the moment. What that's really about, from a healthcare perspective, is activating the thrival, healing, health, rest and digest, relaxation nervous system in the moment. In the individual moment, you're either parasympathetic or you're sympathetic. You're either with me or against me, as it says in the Bible. And that means every single moment we're either in one stage or another. And this is why we have to be so careful about fear. We have to be so careful about falling into fear, falling into anger, falling into these negative states, these negative emotional states. Don't let anybody convince you to be scared. You don't do your best work when you're scared. You don't think clearly when you're scared. Literally, your brain, the prefrontal cortex, the executive center, the thought, the intelligence of the brain starts to shrivel up when we're under fear, and the energy is shunted into the reptilian center, aptly named, the survival center. And when our energy is shifted into our survival center in our brain, not only do we not think clearly, not only do we fall into this vicious downward cycle of fear, but our body's ability to heal shuts down. In terms of building, in terms of connective tissue building, which is what we're talking about here. We're talking about protein and peptides, and we're going to get to that. I haven't forgotten about cysteine and the peptides and the amino acids that are required for building. But in terms of building, connective tissue building, there's a process that takes place in the body called remodeling. Remodeling, like when you remodel your home. When you remodel your home, it's like having a new home. Well, our real home is not our house. Our real home is our body. And our body is constantly remodeling. The meat of our body, the bulk of our body, the connective tissue, which is the largest component of our body, is constantly remodeling itself. This is so cool. The connective tissue in the body is constantly new. Every moment, it's new. And because we perceive our world through our bodies, when our body is new, the world is new. But this remodeling means that at any given moment, we got to have our ducks in a row nutritionally, through detoxification, through respiration. And the good news is this remodeling process is built in, and that means we don't have to be condemned to our disease. That's why I call this program The Bright Side. It's the good news. It means we don't have to be condemned to our arthritis, our diabetes, our autoimmunity, our multiple sclerosis, our heart disease. Yes, the medical model wants us to feel this way. Don't ever say, I have diabetes. I have multiple sclerosis. I have Parkinson's disease. When we say I have, that means we own it. And this is what the model wants us to think, that we're stuck with it. We're own it. That all we can do is take medicine. How many times have you heard, if you have some kind of degenerative crisis, how many times have you heard from your doctor, you're going to be on this drug for the rest of your life? If you ever hear that from a medical professional, that's a medical professional who should be ashamed of himself, and we should be running from somebody like that. A medical professional should be encouraging you to figure out a way to not be on medication the rest of your life. And that's what we do here on this program. The fact that the body is constantly remodeling itself, the fact that the body is constantly new is the good news. It's the bright side. You don't have to own your disease because every moment is new. You may have had diabetes last moment. You may have had the diabetic process going on in the body last moment, but if you so desire, This moment, you don't have to have it because the body is constantly renewing itself. This is true about all degenerative diseases, diseases that don't get better, diseases that are anti-regenerative. That's what a degenerative disease is. Now, cancer is a little bit trickier because carcinogenesis, the cancer, the formation of cancer is kind of like a genetic switch that has been turned on. By the time a cancer cell by the time a cell becomes cancerous, the environment that cell is swimming in, is sitting in, has been so toxic that now that cell has switched on into genetically into a secondary mechanism of living, a secondary mechanism of processing energy. But theoretically, at least, and all the various reports on remission of cancer prove this, theoretically and practically, it can be done. Even cancer is theoretically and practically, based on numerous reports of remission, even cancer is reversible. Now, in terms of connective tissue breakdown or remodeling defects, and this is largely what we perceive as aging, in terms of connective tissue breakdown, that is what we look at as aging, one of the most troubling, at least potentially unattractive manifestations of this kind of breakdown and connective muscle tissue breakdown is skin issues. This is why there's billions of dollars spent every year on skin health, on skin products. And I've been in the skin and beauty business for almost 30 years now, for over 30 years now, since 1983. Hard to believe, but yeah, I've been creating skincare products and studying the skincare business, working with plastic surgeons and dermatologists and patients now since 1983. And everybody wants beautiful skin, but the fact that we don't understand how the body works means that we are victims for predators selling us all kinds of crapola products, like the doctor from France who wants us to use a melon extract, for crying out loud, a melon extract on our skin to make our skin nicer. We are just bombarded with this kind of nonsense. Why? Because we don't understand how the thing is put together. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side on the Genesis Communication Network. We will be back with your phone calls right after this. All right, we are back on The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben, and we do have a couple lines open for you. Please call in early, so we can get to all your calls. 855-660-4261 is our number. If you have a success story, love hearing those. If you want to just contribute to our conversation, what do you think about this idea of fear versus love? I know we have a healthcare program, and we talk about nutrition, and I love talking about nutrition. I love chemistry. I'm a chemistry geek. But at the end of the day, there is this mental and emotional, and yes, indeed, spiritual component to all of to everything, really. Spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. I don't talk about that anywhere nearly enough. But the fact of the matter is that our health and our lack of health is a spiritual issue first and foremost, then a mental and emotional issue, and then a physical issue, and all these dimensions have to be addressed. When it comes to the way the body heals and regenerates itself and breaks down, all of these dimensions have to be addressed, because when we are under crisis, a sense of crisis, emotional, mental, spiritual crisis, the healing and regenerating properties of the body, which are built in, they begin to shut down. And nowhere is this demonstrated more than in the skin. We got this billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar skincare industry, and nobody talks about the fundamental component of the breakdown process, the fundamental components of the breakdown process that show up as wrinkles, that show up as boils and zits, that show up as cellulite. On our last program, we talked about cellulite. Cellulite is a classic example of a connective tissue breakdown, and this is why most cellulite treatments don't work. Wraps and gels, all the things you get in spa creams. I'm guilty of making a cellulite cream a couple decades ago. I made a cellulite cream, called it what did I call it? I forgot what I called it. Thigh cream or something like that. That was back in the day. Some of you may remember in the early 90s, everybody was making aminophylline creams for cellulite. Aminophylline is like caffeine. Aminophylline is an asthma medicine, and for a couple of years anyway, in the early 1990s, aminophylline and theophylline creams were all the rage for cellulite. Why? Because theophylline and aminophylline, which are similar to caffeine, help the body burn through energy. Their caffeine helps cells burn through energy. The logic being that the more a cell utilized energy, burnt through energy, the more it would burn fat and you'd lose cellulite. This is nonsense. Cellulite is a connective tissue disease. It's not a disease, but it's a manifestation of a connective tissue breakdown, like wrinkles are, like osteoporosis is for that matter. This is why we want to understand how the body is made up. This is one of the benefits of understanding the divisions of the components, the various components of the body. When we understand the components of the body, it will make us more powerful when it comes to healing. The body is made up of 4 components. It looks like when you have a health issue that, oh my God, what the heck is going on? We got all this confusion about various enzymes and molecules and cells and how everything's interacting. If you go to the medical library, and I go every month or so, I'll go pay a visit to the medical library here in Denver. We have a wonderful medical library. And if you don't love chemistry and you don't love biology and you don't love physiology and pharmacy and medicine and health and healing, it's very easy to be overwhelmed by the medical library because we know so much about the minutia of the body. But you don't need to know so much about the minutia of the body just to have a healthy body, just to reverse the degenerative process. Basically, you only need to know that there's 4 components to the body, 4 parts to the body. The body's a 4-part construction. And by understanding the nature of the 4-part construction of the body, we can become so much more powerful when it comes to health and healing. Tomorrow we'll continue talking about connective tissue building as it regards cellulite and as it regards protein and peptides, and why protein is so darn important. And we'll talk about the distinction between these various components of the body so that we can become much more powerful when it comes to health and wellness and healing. We will do that tomorrow as we continue talking about protein and peptides and building on the bright side. Time to hit our phones. 855-660-4261 is our number. Bill in Oklahoma, welcome to the bright side. Good morning. What's up?
Hey, good morning, Ben.
What's going on, my man?
You know, 2 things. I'm just listening to, that Own the Disease deal, and if I could share that with you. My dad had Parkinson's disease, and he was, I think, about 65 when he began to realize the symptoms of it, and about 2 years into it, he came to visit me. He was in Florida, I'm in Oklahoma, and he came to visit, and I was a new Christian, and my wife said, instead of preaching at your dad until he, gets mad and goes home, said, let's just pray for him. And we did that. And one morning I got up and went out to his RV where he's staying, and he's really, I could tell he's feeling good, and at this time he was needing help getting up off the low chairs and that, and anyway, he said, "You notice anything different about me?" And I said, "Yeah, Dad, it seems like you're really feeling good." He says, "You bet I am." He says,
"Wow."
I got down and prayed last night and asked the Lord in my heart, and He's healed me. And he said, "Look here," and he just up and down off the little low sofas like he's doing squat thrust. And
that's awesome.
Praise the Lord.
That's awesome.
And he put up the gutters on my house, in the back of my house that day.
Are you serious? And he had Parkinson's the day before?
Yes.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, and he was just praising the Lord Thursday and Friday and Saturday. We went to the lumber yard, and there was an old gentleman there that was writing out the ticket, and he'd write a little bit, and he laid his pen down and rubbed his hands, and Dad said, "You got some arthritis there?" And the guy says, "Yeah," and Dad said, "Well, that's nothing. I've got this." And he went through his list,
That's awesome, man.
Including Parkinson's disease, and I just, my heart sank, and we left, and I said, "Dad," I said, "You remember the Lord healed you?" And he said, "Oh, son, you don't understand. There's no getting over this Parkinson's disease," and he owned the disease until he died with it.
Is that right?
So that's right.
But for one day, he was recovered, right?
2 days.
All things.
2 days.
2 days. All things are possible for the person that believes, right? All things are possible.
Absolutely.
ALL. That's
Absolutely.
awesome. That's a great story.
Okay.
Thank you for sharing, Bill. What's going on? How can we help you today?
Okay. My wife, she's really stressed out. She's got an appointment Wednesday to begin this oral surgery for 3 implants. And I went through it, and there's really, but she's thinking about...
What kind of implants? What kind of dental implants?
Yes, dental implants. Yeah, the post, and then they put the crown over the post.
Right.
It's a pretty long, drawn-out procedure, but anyway, she's
got some missing teeth. She's got some missing. Okay.
Yes.
You want some ideas? You want some ideas for helping for helping heal?
Yeah, right. Right now, we're doing, so many of the things like the bone soup. Ben, we just love it. and
praise God. That's awesome. I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Constant part of our diet. In fact, I've got the bone part of it ready to make the soup today.
Nice. That's awesome. That's great healing food. That's great healing food.
Yes. In fact, our granddaughter, our daughter-in-law is Chinese. From China, and her parents and that.
Bill, I need you to hang tight because we got to take a break, and then when we come back, I need a question because we got a bunch of folks on the line. Hang tight, Bill. Okay. Thanks for sharing that too. I appreciate that. That's that's a great story. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll get to your phone calls when we come back, so hang tight, and we'll finish up with Bill in Oklahoma. 855-660-4261 is our number. We're coming back at you with more good health information right after this. Don't go away.
We are America's largest independently owned communications network, GCN.
All right, we're back on The Bright Side. Bill in Oklahoma. Continue, my friend. What's going on?
Okay. She started on these high-powered antibiotics, Moxie, /K Clave, 500, 125 tabs, and methyl pred, 4 milligram pack. And so this is eating up all our probiotic type stuff.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well, the antibiotics are killing the probiotics. She does need, they're giving her 2 drugs. They're giving her the antibiotics and they're giving her the steroid drugs to keep the inflammation down. And they're going to, the prednisolone dose pack, I think you said it was a dose pack. That's got a built-in reduction in dosage, so it'll wean her off. It'll wean her off automatically, which is a good thing. A lot of folks stay on prednisone and steroids for a long time, and you never want to do that. So it's a good thing that they got her weaning off of the prednisone. But you're absolutely correct that she's going to have a problem with her gut from the probiotics, probably from the steroids too. So not while she's taking the antibiotics, but in between, or maybe at night, you want her to make sure she's using fermented food and probiotics, both of those. And then when she gets off of her medication, you want to really pounding the probiotics. And there's also a couple of other things that you're going to want to do. And when I say pounding the probiotics, I mean the Biolumin Nightly Essence. I'd be taking 4 or 5 of those a day, plus fermented food. She should be subsisting on kefir and miso and tempeh and sauerkraut and fermented beets, whatever you could do that's fermented. And then also there's a lot of wonderful nutrients that will accelerate the healing process. Have her stay. I'm sure she's on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. She may want to double her dose. She may also want to throw in some extra vitamin C. Go to the off the internet or the health food store, get yourself some vitamin C powder, and start sipping on the vitamin. Have her start sipping on the vitamin C powder in addition to the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and the Mighty 90. The essential fatty acids and the OsteoFX will go a long way to speed up the healing process. Make sure she's getting enough protein. I'd be using whey protein and egg protein. Very, very important for rebuilding. And then there's a couple other ancillary nutrients that can help. You'll have to get those at a health food store. Vitamin E, for example, 400 international units a day, very important for healing. And also zinc, very important for healing. 50 milligrams a day of zinc picolinate a day, and then along with her zinc, take vitamin A, 20,000 international units a day. Do all that with food because you need to have a little digestive juices to absorb all of that. And then, if there's anything else that's super duper important, selenium, the OPC selenium, I'd be using some of that as well. And you'll get that off the longevity. You can get that off brightsideben.com or by calling the Brightside Ben phone team. Good luck with that. And thanks for sharing that story, Bill. That was awesome. Appreciate it. God bless. Have a beautiful day. Okay, let's see. Shola in Georgia. You've been hanging on forever here, man. Appreciate your call. What's going on? Shola.
Good morning. Good morning.
How you doing, Shola?
I'm doing wonderful, thank you.
How can we help you today, ma'am?
Yes, I was calling because I wanted to know if the nutrients will interfere with the med that my mom is on right now.
If the nutrients will interfere with the meds?
Yes.
Okay, that's a great question. I get that question all the time. Doctors will tell you they do, and I'm going to tell you they don't. I'm going to tell you that nutrients will help the medicines work better, and number one, and nutrients will reduce the likelihood of side effects and toxicity from the medicine. So even though this runs exactly 180 degrees opposite from what the doctors will tell you, they'll tell you don't take nutrients with medicines, and they'll tell you don't take nutrients when you're in the hospital, and they'll tell you don't take nutrients when you're having a surgical procedure. My girlfriend had LASIX a couple of years ago. They told her not to take vitamin C and not to take vitamin E with the LASIX. This is what eye doctors tell people, because you heal too fast, and they don't want you to heal too fast. Well, I'm telling you, that's just boneheaded, nonsensical, ignoramus medical advice. Ignorant medical advice. If your doctor told you ever not to take nutrition or in any way, shape, or form, he's an ignoramus of the highest degree. Nutrients are not optional. They're essential. Essential means you better have them or you're in big trouble. And for a healthcare professional to tell a patient who's sick already, who's compromised already, who's undergoing some kind of major stressor like a surgical procedure to not take nutrients is borderline criminal. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and tell you that they're ignorant, but it really is borderline criminal, because these things are absolutely vital, not just to the healing process, but to the living process, to the ability of the body to help to provide the body with the ability to do its work. Always use nutrition with medication. My opinion, just my opinion as a pharmacist, somebody who's been studying nutrition for 30 years, always take nutrients with your medicines. Always, always, always. And if you're using some ultimate dramatic poison like chemotherapy or a blood thinner, change the dose on your medicines, for crying out loud, before you don't take nutritional supplements. If you have to raise the dose on the medicine, which is not a good idea either, do that. But don't avoid vitamin E, and don't avoid zinc, and don't avoid vitamin C like the eye doctors tell people when they have LASIK surgery. These things are essential, and to have any healthcare professional who should know better tell people not to take nutrients is just absolutely ignorant and indeed borderline criminal. And I'm sorry if I got a little harsh on any of your favorite medical professionals, but that's just my opinion. Does that help you, Shola?
Yes. Could I run the medicine that she's on?
Sure.
Because Dr. Wallach had told me to give her brain and heart. She has congestive heart failure.
Okay.
And she's in the rehab right now. But
you want to run her medications by me? I got a couple minutes, Shola, and I got a couple calls I want to get to. So tell me what she's on.
Okay, she's on Pepcid, 200 milligram.
Okay, Pepcid yeah.
Amiodarone,
okay,
200 milligram.
Okay.
Aspirin.
Okay.
And I think another one is Bidil.
I'm sorry, say that the last one again. I didn't hear it.
I think it's BIDL.
BIDL?
Yes.
Beetle. I never heard of Beetle. I don't know what that is. But let me go over these other ones real quick. Amiodarone is for heart arrhythmias, to keep the heart in rhythm. Aspirin is a blood thinner. And I forgot what the first one you said. What was the first drug you said?
Pepcid.
Pepcid for her belly. All right. The worst one is the amiodarone. They're all nasty, but aspirin's probably the mildest. Here's what you want to do. Amiodarone is a
one. Correct. There's Correct. There's Colace.
She's on a bunch. She reminds me of these patients that were in the nursing homes. When I used to work in nursing homes and hospitals, they just put them on these laundry lists of medications. Listen, guys, every single medicine you take puts an added burden on the body. Every single drug has to be processed by the body's poison control system. Every single drug you're on means that your body is burning through nutrition in order to process these things. Amiodarone is particularly toxic. They're all nasty, but amiodarone is particularly toxic. Here's what you need to do. Number one, she needs to fix her diet around. That means staying away from anything that spikes blood sugar and insulin, and anything that messes up her digestive system. If I was your mom, I would be doing only liquids for a while, giving my digestive system a break, especially bone soup and the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. I'd be staying as far away as I could from fruit juice and bread and pasta and tacos and burritos and rice and pasta, noodles, and anything that messes up her blood sugar. Desserts, of course, that goes without saying. Anything that messes up her blood sugar is going to cause problems with the heart, is going to exacerbate arrhythmias, and all your doctor's going to do is give her more amiodarone, which is an absolutely horrific, nasty drug. Google it. Google Medline and amiodarone. Don't take my word for it. It's awful. Arrhythmias are caused by an electrical conductivity issue. The heart is an electrical system, and the electricity is messed up, usually because of toxicity, nutritional deficiencies, as well as immune problems and respiratory problems, oxygenation. Deep breathing, I think I might have told you that before, is also very helpful for her. If you want just a couple quick nutritional supplements for the heart that can protect her, make sure she's getting enough B vitamins and vitamin C. And of course, that means the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. The BTT is going to be her best friend. I appreciate your call, Shoal. I got to move on. I want to see if I can get a couple more calls in here. Linda in Ohio, what is going on? Welcome to the bright side.
Hi. Basically, I would think it would be blood poisoning that'd be the issue. My son developed blisters on his finger. I thought it was an injury.
How did he get?
He went to the doctor. I don't think it was an injury. He went to the doctor. The doctor said it was probably a herpetic whitlow.
Does he have any other symptoms? Anything else going on? That's
fever,
really.
And then he had fever. Then he had a golf ball sized couple areas on his arm and red streaks going up his hand, up his arm, very red. He's on three.
We're just at, ma'am, we're out of time. And let me just tell you a couple ideas real quick, okay? Blood poisoning, technically they call it sepsis, S-E-P-S-I-S, is a serious problem, serious medical condition. And the only question we need to ask is what has gotten into the blood? Now, sepsis occurs, like all diseases, occur in a gradual form. Most doctors will tell you by the time you have sepsis, you got big problems. But sepsis occurs gradually, and he could be not in the final or end stages of sepsis, but in the beginning stages of sepsis. Blood becomes poison unless you're injecting something directly in the blood. Blood becomes poison through the digestive system. We're just flat out of time. I hope you'll call me tomorrow and we can continue this discussion. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for listening, folks. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye for now.